Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something that's becoming way too common, but here's the good news, it's also surprisingly preventable. We're talking about stroke. And look, this can affect anyone at any age, but really understanding it is the absolute first step toward protecting yourself and the people you care about. So let's dive right in. There's a reason stroke has earned this pretty grim nickname, the silent killer. It's because it can strike so suddenly, a lot of times without any obvious warning, and its consequences can be, well, they can be devastating. This isn't just some abstract medical term. It's a reality we really need to face head on.
So, what's actually happening inside the brain during a stroke? In the simplest terms, it's a brain attack. Blood flow to a part of the brain gets blocked or cut off, and without that constant supply of oxygen, brain cells start to die. And they start dying within minutes. The key words to remember here are sudden and minutes. Time is everything.
Okay, so we've got the basic definition down. But it's really important to know that not all strokes are created equal. They actually fall into two main categories, and it all depends on what's causing that interruption in blood flow. Okay, so you can really think of this in two ways. On one side, you've got an ischemic stroke. This is basically a plumbing problem, a clog, usually from a blood clot that blocks up the pipes. On the other side, you have a hemorrhagic stroke. This isn't a clog, it's a leak. A blood vessel actually bursts and starts bleeding inside the brain. One is way more common, but the other, the bleed, is often much more deadly. And this chart just drives that point home. Look at that. A staggering 80% of all strokes are ischemic, the blockage kind. And this is so important because it means a lot of the prevention strategies we're about to talk about are aimed squarely at stopping the clots and the plaque that cause these blockages in the first place. Now, before we move on, there is one more critical piece of the puzzle, the TIA, or transient ischemic attack. You should think of this as a warning stroke. It's like a warning shot from your body. The symptoms are the same as a full-blown stroke, but then they disappear. It is a massive flashing red light that a major stroke could be on its way. So here's the thing about strokes. They don't just happen out of the blue. They're almost always the final result of a whole web of risk factors, habits, and conditions that build up over years. So let's untangle that web a little. First up, let's talk about the underlying medical conditions. At the very top of that list, the number one cause is high blood pressure. Why? Because it just relentlessly weakens and damages your blood vessels over time. Then you've got things like atherosclerosis. That's the gunk, the plaque that builds up and narrows your arteries, plus diabetes and other heart diseases. Each one of these creates the perfect storm for a stroke to happen. So, where do those medical conditions come from? Well, a lot of the time they're fueled by this list right here, our lifestyle choices. Smoking, for instance, directly attacks the lining of your blood vessels. Things like drinking too much alcohol, eating a diet loaded with salt and animal fat, and not moving your body enough, they all contribute directly to that high blood pressure and plaque buildup we just talked about. And finally, there are a few other factors in the mix. Sure, your risk does go up as you get older, especially after 55, and yeah, family history can definitely play a role. But I really want to point out that last one, chronic stress. It's so often overlooked, but being stressed out all the time can seriously mess with your blood pressure, making you way more vulnerable. Understanding the causes is one thing, but to really truly get why prevention is so critical, we have to look at the consequences. Because a stroke isn't just a medical event that happens and then it's over. Its impact can last a lifetime. The impact just ripples through every single part of a survivor's life. It can steal a person's mobility, their ability to walk. It can steal their voice, their memories, sometimes even their personality. And it doesn't just stop with the individual. It places this huge financial and emotional weight on the entire family.
Just let that number sink in for a second. According to the World Health Organization, stroke is the second leading cause of death across the entire globe. And it's the number one cause of long-term disability. This isn't a small problem. It's a global health crisis.
Okay, I know that was all pretty heavy, but here comes the most important message of this entire explainer. The vast majority of strokes are preventable. We actually have the power to take control and dramatically, seriously lower our risk. So let's talk about exactly how to do that.
All right, this right here, this is your blueprint. These are the 5 pillars of prevention. It all kicks off with number 1. You've got to know your numbers. That means keeping an eye on your blood pressure, your blood sugar, and cholesterol. That's your foundation. Then you build on that by fueling your body right with a balanced diet. From there, it's about moving your body, getting that heart strong with about 150 minutes of exercise a week. Then, of course, we've got the stuff to get rid of, like smoking and too much alcohol. And tying it all together is managing stress. See how they all work together? Each one supports the others.
So let's take all of that amazing advice and boil it down into something even simpler. Think of these as your golden rules for a stroke-free life. Things you can start doing like today.
These are the little habits that build a strong, resilient body and mind. We're talking about getting enough sleep, not overeating, keeping your mind sharp by learning new things, and staying connected with people. And of course, a huge one, getting those regular checkups, especially once you're over 40. It's not about some crazy radical change overnight. It's about building a solid foundation one day at a time.
I mean, we've all heard this saying a million times, right? But when we're talking about stroke, it has never, ever been more true. The effort we put into prevention today is just a tiny fraction of the struggle that comes with recovery tomorrow. Every single healthy choice you make is a direct investment in your own future. So, I'm going to leave you with this one question. After everything we've just talked about, what is the one small, manageable change you are going to invest in for yourself starting today? Maybe it's just taking a walk after dinner. Maybe it's cutting back on salty snacks or finally making that doctor's appointment. The power to protect your future is right there, in your hands. It starts now.